Hello, I'm Josh George, doing my Week 6 college football predictions. We have Coastal Carolina minus 18. Jeremy Chadwell has done a really good job as head coach. He's really started to bust up some of these lower tier teams. Arkansas State only has one win on the season, and Coastal looked really good against um, Louisiana Monroe last week. They've beat the spread in 4 of their last 9 times. So I have Coastal, Georgia, and at Auburn. Look, Auburn is a decent team. Bo Nix has shown that he is a decent quarterback in the new system. But Georgia has the number one in total defense, and they've only allowed 222 pass yards all season. Now, Auburn, it was 7-4 against the spread in 2019. So if this number creeps up to 16 or ends up resting at 17, you might end up taking Auburn. But right now, I've got Georgia. Arkansas and Ole Miss. Look, these are two teams that got kicked in the teeth. Who can come up and make a statement? Ole Miss will be at home, and despite getting shut down by Alabama last week, this offense is still number one in total offense in the country, and they're 4-1 this season against the spread. Arkansas's got a lot of heart, and they're getting 4.5 points. Part of me wants to bet Arkansas, but I think Ole Miss finds a way to cover. Vanderbilt and Florida. Vanderbilt got their first win since 2019, and look, they're going to be looking to make a statement, keep this one close. They've kept it close against Florida, and that is a huge number. Will they come out flat and super excited about the win, or will Florida come out flat, not taking Vanderbilt seriously? That's what it comes down to. It's a hard bet for me, but getting all of those points, I go with Vanderbilt. Maryland and Ohio State. Maryland is a 4-win team, and they were expected to be a 4-win team at the beginning of the year by Lindsey and Phil Steele and myself. And look, the FBI gives Ohio State a 93.4 chance to win this football game. The bet here, I think, is definitely Ohio State. I think they can win the game, and if Tulia has turnovers, they win big. This line has fluctuated and continues to fluctuate. ESPN won't put an official line out for this one yet, just because it's moving so much in Caesar's Palace and some of the other places. But right now, I found this at minus 24.5, and I think if you get that, you go Rutgers. Rutgers is 1-1 over the last couple games against the spread, and they've shown at times that they can be really good. And Michigan State was picked 79, opened the season 79th in preseason polls, and is a top 25 team at 5-0, and they're huge favorites. I think Rutgers keeps this one close. West Virginia and Baylor. Look, Baylor is number one in the Big 12 in rushing offense. Well, right now, West Virginia is number one in the Big 12 in rushing defense. So it's going to be an old-fashioned battle in the trenches. West Virginia on the road has to travel to Waco. It's a tough travel for them, getting 3 points. Will it be enough? I don't know if they're going to win the football game, but I'll take West Virginia getting the points. Now, Tennessee is favored by more than I thought they'd be at minus 9.5 here, but it's going to be a good game. Two coaches that are brand new to the SEC here, and Tennessee's averaging 40 points per game, and Josh Heupel averaged 35.5 points per game at UCF. And they scored 62 on an SEC opponent, and Tennessee is 2-1 against the spread this season. When it comes down to it, it's going to be a close game, but I know they can score points. Can they score enough to beat the spread and to beat Beamer's good defense? Oof, and that number's a little bit higher than I thought it would be. Something tells me this is going to be a dogfight. I've got South Carolina. Georgia Tech and Duke. Look, this one's going to come down to talent. Georgia Tech's only minus 2.5 in this one. I know that they're on the road in a tough environment, but according to the 247 talent composite, Georgia Tech ranks 33rd and Duke ranks 62nd. And it's really going to come down to Nate Burton's offense against Jeff Ferris's defense. Nate at Georgia Tech and Jeff at Duke. And I think Georgia Tech wins big, beats the spread. And Virginia and Louisville getting together here. Look, Virginia's been really up and down. 2-3 against the spread. Louisville is 4-1 overall, 3-2 against the spread. And it's just like which Louisville's been in a lot of grind out, close wins, close losses kind of games. Virginia kind of likewise. They're the ones getting the points. I'll take Virginia. Byu and Boise. This is going to be a good bet for you this season. Last year at +4, Boise State was +4 and lost 17-51. Didn't cover and got obliterated. They were -7 in 2019. They lost 25-28. That's Boise State. That was -7, by the way. And also in non-conference, their other last non-conference meeting, Boise State was +1 and lost 21-47. So major league on this one. I say take BYU minus the points. Wake Forest 7.5 here. When that hook got put on, I thought maybe Syracuse, because man, Wake could cover the spread. Look, they started the year 0-3 against the spread, 5-0, of course, regularly. They've looked really good defensively this season, and really, it's Nick Anderson, the big defensive end against Dino Babers' offense. But I'll take the hook. Give me Wake. Florida State and UNC. Now, this game was really interesting because of what happened last season. Florida State beat a highly favored North Carolina team 28-31. And Tony Fox is a really good player. He's a really good athlete. In this game, he's going to make the difference for Florida State. And UNC is 5-6 against the spread. But man, Florida State has not been playing well. Give me North Carolina minus the 17, which is a huge number. Man, Wisconsin -8.5. Give me Illinois for sure. Really confident in this one. Paul Christie is a good coach, but Brett Bielema wants a piece of Wisconsin. Bielema's 37-19 in Big Ten play. He is a former coach of Wisconsin, and he will be ready for this football game. Now, Penn State and Iowa. Look, this game of the week in a lot of places here. I did some research, and Iowa is 18-4-1 against the spread since 2016. Penn State's James Franklin is 4-1 against Iowa outright in the last 5 years. And it is at the Children's Hospital. This is going to be a really close game. I'm going to take Penn State. -2.5 or +2.5. UCF they found a way to lose almost. That's pretty much what it felt like to Navy. They're -10. They were minus more last week. Didn't beat the spread. Lost outright. ECU's a team looking to get on track, looking for some wins. Gus Malzahn for UCF is looking to roll here. And, man, getting 10 points, I feel like ECU might get blown out. I've got UCF. It just feels that way. UTEP getting 1.5 points against Southern Miss. Now, Frank Gore Jr. is the running back for Southern Miss. But this UTEP offense was rated by Castile's magazine as the #1 group of 5 defense in the country. And when you turn on the tape and you look at UTEP, they're a very capable football team. They're not one to overlook. They might end up blowing out Southern Miss in the box score. This is a box score that if you bet on a little bit and you look at it, you'll be happy with your money. Get UTEP. TCU and Texas Tech here. Texas Tech is 8-14-2 against the spread under Matt Wells in 3 seasons. Well, 2.5. And TCU, after playing Texas, is kind of a different football team. You see, the last 2 seasons that they beat Texas, they've lost the next week to Oklahoma State and Kansas State. When they lost to Texas in 2017, they beat Iowa State the following week. They lost to Texas. They probably will come out and beat Tech. Tech not very good against the spread. It's only a 1.5 point thing. Take TCU. Wyoming and an Air Force Academy team minus 3.5. Now, Air Force is ranked as the number one military academy this season. And they have 2 really good defensive backs, and they're going to need it against Wyoming in Corvin and Trey Taylor. Those defensive backs have have put this team in the top 5 for pass breakups this season. So, and Wyoming came into the year ranked 82nd and is an undefeated team, so might be due for a loss here. Take Air Force minus 3.5. Notre Dame and Virginia Tech. Now, this game is going to be very interesting. T. Alexander is going to play a huge factor for Virginia Tech. Look, they looked really explosive on defense against North Carolina. Haven't showed a ton this season, but Notre Dame is 1-4 this year against the spread. Virginia Tech's getting 3 points at home. I'll take Virginia Tech. Michigan at Nebraska in Lincoln, only getting 3.5 points for Nebraska. Scott Frost is on the hot seat, and this game is going to matter. They put up 56 points last week. They've looked like they've turned the corner ever since the Oklahoma game. A team that was projected in the bottom 7. A team that hasn't been to a bowl game under Scott Frost. And can they defend Eric All at tight end for Michigan? That's the biggest question. If you hear Eric All's name called a lot when you're watching this game, Michigan won this game and they covered the spread. If you don't, Nebraska did. So look up his stats and his box score and his stature and his rivals and things like that before you bet on this game. But my gut is Nebraska. So I'm going to take Nebraska getting 3.5. Now, LSU and Kentucky. Look, Kentucky pulled off a surprising win last season, and Mark Stoops' defense looked really good. How focused is Edo's squad going to be coming into this one? That's the real ticker in this one. But, man, it's going to be an interesting game because LSU is a top 25 in rivals, Athlon, 247, you name it. They're the more talented team. They should win this game, and they're getting points. So the bet here is LSU. The Lobos, New Mexico, and San Diego State. San Diego State minus 18 points here. This really comes down to how good San Diego State has been on offense. They've been solid running the football, looked good, lots of play calling, lots of sustained drives. The eye test shows up here. And I take San Diego State minus the 18. Alabama and Texas A&M. Look, Texas A&M has been a lackluster, underperforming team in the last couple of weeks, and they've really failed to win, and they've failed to beat the spread. When it comes down to it, Alabama's going to win this football game. Are they going to cover that 17-point spread? Well, their defense says they will against how good they did against Ole Miss, so I say they will. Now, Utah and USC. USC minus 4 points here. Utah has the number one in defense according to Lindsay, and has the number one front line in the Pac-12 according to rush yards and sack total on the season. And they've beaten the spread 3 out of the last 4 times against USC, and USC's in total turmoil, but something tells me that USC is going to find a way to win this game, so I've got USC. Memphis and Tulsa. Now, I was surprised when Tulsa was favored, because when you look at the records, Memphis probably should be favorites. And according to the FBI, Memphis should be favored, because Tulsa only has a 47 to win this game, and they're at home. So this one kind of jumps off the page. Memphis, the team that's probably going to win the game, getting points. So I've got Memphis. I think this is one that I'm really confident about, and one that you could win some money on. Now UCLA and Arizona here. DTR versus Gunner Cruz. Good quarterback duel. High scoring game. Take the over kind of a game. Gonna be an after dark shootout. And Arizona's the team. They're the home dog getting the points. So I'll take Arizona getting 17.5. The Red River Showdown. The Red River Rivalry. The Red River Shootout. Please post in the comments. What is this rivalry called? Is it Texas OU? Is it OU Texas? Is it just the best rivalry in the land? Lot to talk about here. Now, OU minus 3.5. OU hasn't covered against an FBS opponent all season. So, I'll start with, I'll let you wet your whiskers on that. Texas has rushes for an average of 268 yards per game. OU, 155. This game is won and lost in the trenches year in and year out. Favors Texas. Margin of victory. Texas has a 9.8 margin per victory. Oklahoma, 19.4. Favors Texas. Now, against the run, OU allows an average of 83.6 yards on the ground. Texas, 170. Favors the Sooners. So, here's the other big stats. Turnovers and momentum switches in a 50-50 field like no other. In the Cotton Bowl with the State Fair in the background, can really swing and decide this football game. OU is ranked 15th in turnover margin and 8th in takeaways. Texas is 25th in turnover margin and 14th in takeaways. Now, one other thing before I get into Casey Thompson, new quarterback. Spencer Rattler has not done good at quarterback. Just he's turned the ball over in every game but one. And man, that could be huge. But Casey Thompson, new quarterbacks do not do well in this game. Spencer didn't do well last year in it. He got benched. I mean, you have to know the intensity of this one. You have to know how the guys are flying around. Oh, you got 9 sacks in 2019. And so Casey Thompson, if he makes a mistake or something, he could really change this game. I made a prediction on this video in my other video. I'll put it on the screen now. And you can go to that. But my prediction against the spread is going to be Texas. Just because, man, they're the ones getting the points. And in this one, that's really what it comes down to. It's going to be a close one. It's going to be an entertaining watch. And I know the perception, OU minus 3.5, is that OU is going to win this game. And OU, over the last decade, has been there. They have found ways to win this football game, but I don't know. It feels like they're 1 second away from trying to lose, 1 second from being tripped up and losing the football game, and I think they could end up losing this football game, and I certainly don't have them against the spread. I'm Josh George. This was my Week 6 college football preview and a picking against the spread college football video.